What is it that turns a man into a monster? This question has puzzled psychologists, criminologists, and curious minds alike for generations. Serial killers. The term alone sends a chilling shiver down one's spine. These are individuals who, for reasons that remain largely inexplicable, commit heinous acts of violence repeatedly, leaving a trail of terror in their wake. Is it a twisted psyche scarred by traumatic childhood events? Or perhaps a biological anomaly that steers them towards the path of malevolence? The answers remain elusive, obscured in the grim shadows of their dark deeds. In the next few minutes, we shall embark on a harrowing journey into the lives of 7 individuals whose names have become synonymous with horror. These are the men who have etched their mark on the annals of crime, their stories serving as stark reminders of the depths of depravity to which humanity can sink. Dare to delve into the darkness as we explore the lives of the 7 most dangerous serial killers in history. Our journey into the abyss begins with Harold Shipman, a man whose profession was to save lives, not end them. Born in the heart of England, Shipman led a seemingly normal life. He pursued a career in medicine, becoming a trusted GP in Hyde, Greater Manchester. But beneath this veneer of respectability lurked a chilling reality. Shipman had a deadly secret. He was using his position of trust to commit the unthinkable: murder. Over 2 decades, he claimed the lives of over 200 patients, making him one of the most prolific serial killers in recorded history. His victims, mostly elderly women, were killed under the guise of routine medical procedures. The impact of his heinous crimes sent shockwaves through the medical community, shattering trust and leaving a legacy of fear. Harold Shipman, the doctor who became death, was finally imprisoned in 1998. His reign of terror had ended, but the scars of his actions still haunt to this day. From the cold streets of England, we travel to the sweltering heat of South America, where Pedro Lopez lurked. Born into a life of hardship and despair, Lopez was the embodiment of a predator, a man whose name would soon strike fear into the heart of a continent. Pedro Lopez's life was a gruesome tale of violence and tragedy. He was a drifter, moving between Peru, Colombia, and Ecuador. His victims, young girls, unsuspecting and vulnerable. The horrifying tally is believed to exceed 300, a number that sends chills down the spine. In 1980, the long shadow of terror that Lopez cast over South America was temporarily lifted when he was captured. His trial was a sensation, the details of his crimes so chilling they were almost unimaginable. Yet, amidst the relief, a controversy brewed. Despite the severity of his crimes, Lopez was released from an Ecuadorian prison in 1998. The decision to release him sparked widespread outrage and fear. Yet the authorities remained unmoved. To this day, his whereabouts remain unknown. Some say he vanished into the obscurity of South America's vast wilderness, while others believe he met an untimely end. Pedro Lopez, the monster of the Andes, remains a chilling specter in South America's past. Our next stop takes us to the icy wilderness of Alaska, where Robert Hansen, the butcher baker, prowled. This ordinary-looking man led a secret life that would chill you to the bone. A successful baker by day and a hunter by night, his prey were not animals but humans. Robert was not just a hunter. He was a predator who took perverse pleasure in stalking and capturing his victims. His hunting hobby took a dark, deadly turn, and soon he was hunting more than just wild game. His victim count, a shocking 17. Despite his gruesome exploits, Hansen managed to elude capture for over a decade. But like all predators, he eventually fell into the trap of his own making. In 1983, he was arrested and sentenced to 461 years in prison, a grim testament to the magnitude of his crimes. Robert Hansen, the hunter of humans, met his end in prison in 2014. His reign of terror frozen in time, just like the Alaskan wilderness he once prowled. From the frost of Alaska, we plunge into the heart of Soviet Russia, where Andrei Chikatilo, the Red Ripper, reigned. Born in 1936 in Ukraine, Chikatilo grew up amidst the harsh realities of World War II. Yet it was his personal life that was marked by a darkness far more chilling than any war. Chikatilo's journey into the abyss began in the late 1970s. A school teacher by profession, he used his position to prey on the most vulnerable, the very children he was meant to nurture and protect. His reign of terror spanned over a decade, claiming the lives of 53 innocent souls, a number that haunts us to this day. His methods were gruesome, his crimes unspeakable. He left a trail of horror that stretched across the vast expanse of Soviet Russia. His victims were mainly young, vulnerable individuals, their lives brutally cut short by a man who embodied the very essence of evil. The Red Ripper's reign of terror came to an end in 1990 when he was finally captured. The trial that followed was a spectacle, a grim reminder of the depths of human depravity. Chikatilo was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to death. Andrei Chikatilo, the Red Ripper, met his end on the executioner's block in 1994. His story serves as a dark reminder of the evil that can lurk in the most unsuspecting of places, hidden behind the most ordinary of faces. We now return to the United States, where Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal, held a reign of terror. Born in Wisconsin in 1960, Dahmer led a life that spiraled into darkness. This seemingly ordinary man harbored an insatiable hunger for the macabre. His heinous acts commenced in 1978 with a spree that spanned more than a decade. He was responsible for the murder and dismemberment of 17 young men, a series of crimes that sent shockwaves through the nation. Dahmer's gruesome reign ended in 1991 when one of his intended victims managed to escape and alerted the authorities. His trial unveiled a chilling portrait of a man driven by a twisted compulsion. Convicted for his monstrous deeds, Dahmer was sentenced to 16 life terms in prison. His life, however, was cut short in 1994 when he was brutally murdered by a fellow inmate. Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal, met a violent end in prison in 1994. Our final stop takes us back to the United Kingdom, where Peter Manuel, the Beast of Birkinshaw, unleashed his fury. Born in 1927, Manuel's life was a chilling journey into darkness, marked by a ruthlessness that left Scotland in fear. This malevolent predator was responsible for the brutal end of at least 7 lives, although the actual count may be higher. His reign of terror spanned from 1956 to 1958, a brief but devastating period that saw him break into homes under the cover of night, his victims unsuspecting until it was too late. The sheer audacity and brutality of his crimes sent shockwaves through the nation. However, the Beast of Birkinshaw's reign was cut short by his capture in January 1958. After a sensational trial, where he even represented himself, Manuel was found guilty. The chilling saga of Peter Manuel, the Beast of Birkinshaw, met its end on the gallows in 1958. Our journey into the heart of darkness ends here. We've delved into the twisted minds and horrifying actions of 7 of the most dangerous serial killers the world has ever seen. From Harold Shipman's deadly bedside manner to Pedro Lopez's reign of terror, Robert Hanson's hunting games, Andrei Chikatilo's gruesome acts, Jeffrey Dahmer's disturbing fascination, and Peter Manuel's ruthless killings. Each of these men left a legacy of fear and pain, a chilling reminder of the depths humanity can sink to. Their stories, as gruesome as they are, serve a purpose. To remember these cases, to study them, is to arm ourselves against the emergence of such evil in the future. It's crucial to understand that these monsters were not born. They were made, shaped by a complex interplay of personal, psychological, and societal factors. As we step back into the light, remember, monsters are not born, they are made,